Hello and welcome to Change. Surprising as it might sound, how can you welcome a change? Sometimes these changes are difficult to welcome. Most often they are uncomfortable, sometimes unacceptable. People say changes are new, but is it also true that some changes are old, that they have been happening for over millenniums? Today, we all deal with a change which makes us uncomfortable. The word change also is used in conjunction with it. The change in the climate, most commonly referred as climate change. So many conferences happening on this theme, the United Nations working tirelessly to bring awareness about this. Also trying to bring all the nations on one platform on creating awareness about climate change and choosing better ways of adapting and creating a better planet. But what can we do? Can we do something about this? Is climate change something that we must be concerned about as normal citizens of a country or citizens of a world? Let's explore what climate change has to offer in terms of the change that we seek. Today, we have our spiritual resource, Sister Usha. Didi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Shanti.
When I was speaking about all of the things that are related to climate change, I think it is not a small topic. It is something
It's a huge topic.
It's a huge topic. It is something that has gone over and over in the past many years. And at least in the past 10 years or so, the United Nations have been working very hard on it. And many nations have also woken up to the disaster that is in front of us if we do not bring about a change. And surprisingly, recently, the government of India also changed the name of its Environment Ministry to the Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change. So India also officially now recognizes climate change as something which is happening in the world, and the government also wants to take steps in dealing with this change. So first of all, if I would say, from a general perspective, everybody understands climate change. Everybody says the temperatures are rising, the rainfall patterns are changing, the colds are becoming colder, the summers are becoming hotter. All of things is going haywire. Sometimes there is no rain, sometimes there is too much of rain. That also causes a lot of diseases, climate-related illnesses that were not heard of before. So a lot of these things have come up. But from a perspective of a common man or common human being's understanding, what can I do is the question that comes up to my mind. And before I go to that question, I would like to ask you that, how do you view climate change? Do you think it is something real? Do you think that it is happening, or is it caused by human beings? What do you think about it?
Somewhere I feel, yes, definitely human beings are responsible in this great change that is happening in the world. Because from the time that we have been using the electronics especially, and the emission that this electronics is doing harm to the nature is too much. I've heard that small things like ACs. We use ACs in summers, which is so essential. Before, I remember, when I was small, we didn't even have fans in our homes. And still the climate was so pleasant. We used to play outside and it was so comfortable. But nowadays, we can't even go outside. Such as the harm that is being done to the environment. And the heat wave is so scorching, I would say. So without ACs, it is impossible to stay. Fans are also not even helping. So ACs in mostly every homes. To that extent that even in the slum areas, we find that people living in the slums, but they also have ACs in their homes, especially in Mumbai, Delhi. We have seen in the slum areas also they have ACs. Carbon emissions that we find is damaging the ozone layers. And that is why I think when the ozone layer is damaged, I read somewhere that the ozone holes that are created are as big as Australia continent. So when such a big hole is there in the ozone, definitely the sun rays are directly touching the earth. And that is why we find that there is great imbalance that is created. Another thing that people are not aware of is planting of trees. Cutting of trees, whenever any city is to be set up, there are so many trees cut down. Then only a city can come up, or even in the widening of the roads and everything. So many trees are being cut off, and the land is becoming barren. And we have still not come into that awareness that we need to plant a tree. Maybe we need to plant a tree every day. So that we have so much of trees, at least, so that we can balance the weather. Another thing that we see is of the dirt that is being put in the rivers and through the rivers into the ocean. The chemical things that are put in the rivers and in the ocean, and all the waste, and especially the plastics. And when the animals, they eat plastics, we sometimes see that when people just throw away some things like
Plastic
food in
pouches,
the
plastic pouches, yeah.
in the dustbins, and cows and many creatures, they cannot open the plastic which is tightly closed, but they take in with the plastic and they are not able to digest, and this is also causing so much of animals dying because of that. So naturally the ecological balance is completely disturbed.
So when you say that these things are out of balance and there is a disturbance,
And everywhere it is human beings that is responsible.
yeah,
Everywhere.
yeah, like when you said about forest, as much as I understand with this aspect that the human beings have caused it, and there are many people who also support it, but there is also an equal amount of denial that comes to it, saying that okay, something is happening and it is supposed to happen and it is happening, and what are we supposed to do with it? So with this kind of denial coming into picture, many people do not take up the responsibility that they are the one causing these changes. Like you very rightly pointed out about forests being cut out because of the human need for agriculture or for setting up new cities or industries. So we are doing the harm at a greater scale, but at the same time, the remedy is not happening at the same time. When I look at these things, I understand this, yes, this is human behavior somewhere causing these things. But these things are also necessary, right?
Yeah, they are necessary.
Many times people also say that it is a necessary evil. What can we do? We know it is necessary, but at the same time we know it is evil.
It's evil, yeah.
So it is a way of saying that, okay, I have nothing to do now because it is part and parcel of life.
No, actually, we can do something, especially where the plastic comes in, because the plastic is creating a lot of pollution, and that is damaging the ecological condition of this planet so much. So before, yeah, plastic is something which is very handy, very useful for people, but at the same time, I think there we can do something. We can just abolish that gradually from this planet and introduce some other types of bags. Nowadays, I was looking at a video recently where a lady, she has introduced something very like plastic, but at the same time, it gets soluble in water, and it doesn't even damage the ecology. I think those inventions which people have made, we need to, or the governments also need to promote those type of things so that we can really get rid of this plastic which is damaging so much to the plants, to the animals, and to the human beings as well.
Until that happens, I mean, until that research comes into the mainstream.
Yeah.
Let's say if I have to do something today, many people find plastic is an easy way of simplifying our lives. I don't have to carry a bag everywhere I have to go. I could just buy a plastic bag, and sometimes plastic is available free of cost.
Yeah.
So it reduces my hassle, right?
But we need to bring this awareness especially because, governments are saying no plastic free state. But that is not going to solve the problem. Actually, the government also needs to take an action against those industries who are creating these plastics. So, some remedy has to be done. Some initiatives have to be taken by the governments also of different countries, different states, and they need to really be serious on it. Then only something can happen. Somewhere we can do something, but we are just ignoring because maybe the corruption is so much to that level that those plastic industries, I've visited some of the plastic industries and I've seen how they are made. And when we go inside the factory, I've seen the smell. It really poisons as if our lungs and everything. It is damaging the health as well. But still, nobody is doing anything about it.
So I think when I have a choice of whether I should use plastic or not, there is recyclable plastic. Plastic is something which was always marketed as something which is recyclable. It could be reused again and again. But today we have come to single-use plastics. We use it once and we throw it and we don't know where it goes, whether it goes to the recycling plant or not. But I'm also pretty sure that in the olden times, in the age when plastic was not so popular, people still used to go shopping. And how did they do it then?
Yeah, that's the point,
Yeah. So I have also heard that there are people who are slowly picking up on things, that they don't buy plastic bags at all. Whenever they step out of the home, they make sure that they have a bag made up of a cloth. At least one bag is always with them. So whenever they need to purchase something, they make sure that things are put in that bag. And it contributes in a great way.
Definitely. Any small steps taken by people at their level can really do wonders. We can see any revolution that has taken place in the world was initiated by 2-3 individuals only. And it became a revolution in the whole country or everywhere. Similarly, for this also, even if some people take the initiative, and even if one country becomes an example, maybe other countries can easily follow them. And at that point, I would say the government also needs to restrict on the corruption that is taking place. That when those people, those factory owners, try to just give a packet to the government officials, then definitely they don't do anything. So let people do whatever they want to, but there is nothing from the other side. So it has to come from both the sides, not just one side. When human beings become aware and then they try to do something, then these people should also cooperate. And instead of plastic, they have to come out with something else.
So this is one aspect that we spoke about, plastics. But there are also other aspects that I think defines our consumerism, our consumption patterns, and how we are taking a lot more from the planet. One person very wisely says that what you're taking from the planet is not something, it is not your inheritance. It is a loan from the further coming generation.
We need to give back so much.
Yeah. So, but today, in terms of our material requirements, I would say, sometimes material opulences, if I would say. If I were supposed to be considered a rich person, I'm supposed to have a big house, probably more than one house,
Yeah.
and multiple cars, multiple vehicles, and I must have an air-conditioned office, a place where I live. Everything has to be luxurious.
Yeah.
And when we look at this, and this is what defines person as a rich person or a person who has a lot of resources, but these resources also taken in excess are the cause of climate change and cause of inequality.
Definitely. Yeah.
So when I consume more than what is needed, for example, today one car should have been enough for the family. Once upon a time that was the
Yes,
norm.
yes.
But the more and more we are seeing in the cities that people have 2 cars,
4
3
cars.
cars, 4 cars in the same household, because each member of the family wants a car. So what do you want to say about this? This is the human need to acquire more and more.
I believe that after the cars came in, definitely the health problems have also increased. So I know that, like in Netherlands today, that they have completely banned cars, the use of cars in certain areas. The car can go out on the countryside, that's all, for leisure or anything. But within the city, they use bicycles only. And therefore, they are keeping the cities free from pollution or the emission of carbon which is done by the cars. So it is not damaging that much. So similarly, there also we need to bring that awareness that if I want to keep my city clean and hassle free from all the traffic and all that, then definitely the use of bicycle can help a lot, can contribute. So in certain countries, if they can make this as a rule, why not in each and every country? After using the bicycles, definitely we breathe good air and we remain healthy. Our health also will increase.
Yes, physical activity, yeah.
Yes, physical activity, and so definitely it will help in each and every way. So there are solutions to every problems, but the only thing is the awareness has to be created amongst the human beings, and somebody or some group of people need to take an initiative to make it a movement. This has to be a movement now in the world.
When you're talking about awareness, when I see that when I think that taking more is what makes me rich, makes me powerful, many people has redefined it as in the popular words of Mahatma Gandhi, the planet Earth has enough for every person's need,
Needs,
but
yeah.
not for anyone's greed.
needs, yeah.
But we are also seeing that greed is taking up. It is
Yes.
also something, it is an awareness that has falsely creeped into our minds that the more that we have, the better
I
it
need
is.
I need this, I need this, I need this. And sometimes people consume more than they need. So they just want to keep it. They want to make it as a status symbol that they are in the society and people should look at them with a different view that, oh, this is a big shot, he is like this. So just to make people know that we are big shots in this city, many people have started increasing. Even if they don't want some things, they may be just lying in their homes, but they want it because to show off to people that we have so much, we have this. And for that, I would definitely say that spiritual awareness is needed. Not just awareness, spiritual awareness. Therefore, if Mahatma Gandhi also said this, that there is everything that a human being needs in his life that the planet is offering, but not to satisfy his greed. I think Mahatma Gandhi also said this from his spiritual wisdom. So when the spiritual awareness is awakened, that is when people will not like to just show off to people. That spiritual awareness is there, which brings that equality. amongst human beings just by respecting each and every individual as human beings. So when we have this attitude, that everybody on this world are the creation of the Supreme, and they are the beautiful creation of this world. So let me respect the flora, fauna, and the human beings, and if I can respect everything with this spiritual awareness, then there is no need for me to show off to people.
So what you're trying to show off is you're trying to impress someone whom you do not know with things that you do not need.
Yes.
So which actually is waste of resources. Yeah. And just by shifting this awareness into a different thing, we can save a lot. We can save the entire world if we would like.
Yes.
And very, very nicely put, Didi. And as much as I understand and resonate with this, I think many of our friends will also recheck on the things that they have, but they do not use it.
And I think the young generation can definitely do, because the young generation is more concerned about it. They don't want to show off. Sometimes I see some children from very good families, they are dressed in casuals, and when their parents said, "Why should you wear this?" They said, "What? Why should I wear something else? I like this. I'm comfortable in this." So I think this mentality of the young generation can definitely contribute in bringing this awareness in each and every
this attitude of being simple, of being what you're comfortable with, of being whatever is necessary is enough. Yeah, very, very nice. And that also brings us a hope that if climate change is something which is real, that hope is also real. And together we can bring about a change, and it is possible. Thank you so much for sharing those insights, Didi. Friends, climate change is real. The hope is real. The problem is real. The solution is real. If we have caused it, then we can also change it. All that requires is the change of that switch, the change of that awareness that my greed will not take me anywhere. For the betterment of everyone, that the whole world is one family and everybody has the right to live on this planet. Let us not take more. Let us be happy with what we have. Let us not try to show something off just for the sake of it. Better things can happen when we change inside. That's all on this episode of Change. We'll see you again. Till then, take care.